Okay, so let's start with the Python. What is Python? Python is a programming language. First of all, you must know there are two types of languages. One is high level language, one is low level language. The high level language is a language which is, you can come sit here. High level language is a language which is very much uh, close to your, which is very much close to your English language. That is called high level language, like C language, C plus. When you're writing the code into that language, you think that whatever I'm thinking, I'm writing in that. So an example, you are saying, if this happens, then do this, otherwise do this. So same type of syntax you are writing. Python is high level language because it is very much similar to the English language, right? And Python, and there is second language which is low level language, which is very much close to your machine language. Machine language, like which understand binary format. Okay, the processing which is done by the CPU or the input output signals, everything is to be understand in the form of the 0 and 1 format. Okay, so such kind of languages where you develop the programs in that way is called the low level language. So Python is a high level language. Now question arises, what is Python, why we are learning Python? Okay, what is the scope of Python, why Python is so popular these days, what is the reason? So first of all, let's go to the introduction. Okay. So Python is a general purpose interpreted interactive object oriented and high level programming language. So what is Python? You the one which you have installed, the package which you have installed. Okay. So that is basically we call the Python shell. We call it Python shell, and which is an interpreter. So there is two types of things. One is the compiler, one is the interpreter. Compiler basically checks your syntax error. Say an example, you are writing if condition and you write wrongly. Syntax is wrong. Say an example, I should be small, you are writing capital. F should be small, you are writing. So compiler basically detects is there any syntax error or not. Okay. Interpreter, what it does, it executes the code line by line. So first line executes, second line executes. That is the job of interpreter. So Python has interpreter, not the compiler. So it means, say an example, you have written 10 lines of code and there is a syntax error on fifth line or somewhere, right? So it executes up to fourth line if everything is fine. Fifth line it stops, and because of the syntax error. So it is a general purpose, means normal. It's not for meant for specific to particular uh, purpose. It is a general purpose for everything. If you want to develop a Windows application, if you want to develop a some scientific application, if you want to develop some libraries, then all these things you use the Python. It's a general purpose, and it is object oriented. So object oriented, all the languages like C++, Java, .NET, or even those these days databases like Oracle, SQL, all are the object oriented database. So object oriented approach is basically an approach which is moving around an object. Okay, so we will see that concept. Okay, in so Python is also object oriented language. Have you do you know that C++ completely all object oriented concepts? Academic only, yes. Okay. So who developed or who invented this Python? So there is a scientist called Guido van Rossum. Okay. So in 1985 to 1990, he has developed this. See, the 85, now it is 2018. So still it is popular. Okay, even though it is more popular than when it was invented. So, like other languages like Perl, Python's source code is also available under GNU. What is GNU? It's a general public license. Means um, there are some software which is open source. Open source means you can see their code, and freeware like Java, like Python, like Linux. Okay, so you can see the code, but you cannot change it. If you want to change it, then you change it and give it back to the GNU again. Okay, for the general public license. So they will publish it free. You can change it, but you cannot sell it. Then if you are thinking, if I'm changing and if I am not able to sell it, then what I need to why I'm doing that? If you are developing the application, or if you are selling it, if you are giving back to the uh, GPL, then you have a landmark. You have basically you can get it for the support purpose. You can earn the money with the support. Okay, so Python is freeware and open source. Python has a simple coding style which is easy to catch with a little knowledge and right tools. Hence, it is preferred language for beginners planning to make a career in programming. Python has applications in a variety of areas, be they are desktop, web application, data mining, machine learning. So in all these places, you can use the Python. You can make the websites, games, use it for the web scraping, robotics, and browser automation, that is using Selenium with Python, and almost everything that an object-oriented language can do. So this, for all these purposes, Python, we use the Python. So in this Python, we have the code quality, developer productivity is good, code portability. Code portability means from one system to other system. If you want to move your script, you can do that. Some libraries which is helpful, okay, to develop the application. Say an example, you have a math library where you can write the maths related functions. Okay, free to use, modify and redistribute, and object oriented from the core. So these are the main features of the Python. In which domain you means, there are different programming domain. You can develop the uh, you know core Python. You can develop the Windows related application. You can create the web related application. So web application development framework like WAF, like Django, Flask, and Cherry. One second. One rose will it's okay, no problem. Oh. I need the original bill. Then I will approve it. Okay. Uh, she today and yesterday she walked. Now she has little bit there, but now she is there. Yes, yes. Yeah, she's there. Tomorrow night she's there. Okay. What time you will go? 5:30. It's towards Meenakshi one. Other. Uh, uh, so, uh, uh, yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Ravindranath. Okay, so web applications. Actually, there is a framework which is called Django, where in which you can develop the web-based application in Python. But that is not the part of your course. Okay, so we will do the testing in Selenium, where we will target the web application. But Django is a framework where you can develop web applications in the Python. There are others are also Cherry Pie, Flask, Bottle. So these are basically for the web development. Okay. And there are some other modules which is defined by Python, like SkyPy, NumPy, Pandas, Python. All these are the scientific and computing, numeric computing. Okay. You can develop the Windows type of applications in Python, which is called the GUI programming. Okay. So this will be your course content. So we will have overview, environment setup, which you said that you already done it. Okay, then we will go with the basic syntax, if else kind of conditions, loops, numbers, strings, lists, tuples, dictionary, date and time, functions, modules, files, operations like input, output, exception handling. Then we have class objects, regular expression, CGI programming, database access, networking, sending emails, multi-threading, XML processing, GUI programming, and some extensions. So that will be the did I add object orient classes and object orient. So this will be your content. Okay, for uh, Python only, not with Selenium. Selenium we will have different. So do you want me to skip this setup and environment setup? I can just we need to go which one? Pip. Pip is basically if you want to install some modules. Okay, so we will talk about that. Pip is basically an say an example. How can I tell you? Uh, say an example. You want to send an email. Okay, but Python uh, is not having that functionality. So, but that module is available somewhere. So with the help of pip command, you install that module and then you can use that functionality. So pip install, uninstall that we use. Okay. We'll discuss, don't worry. So installation I'm skipping as you have already done. Python or Anaconda, either of these two Python editors you can use. Python is PyCharm is basically you have already installed. Anaconda is also used. Mostly it is used for the what we call machine learning or data science kind of thing. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so what I will do, I will go to my command prompt first. If I say Python here, so this Python console comes here, right? And now first we will go very simple thing with this. So say an example, you are saying 2 plus 2. Any numeric operation if you want to do, you can do it here. Okay, so this is a simple calculation or simplest calculation. I will say. You say 2 minus 2, 0. If you say 2 into 3, 6. And if you want to divide 15, divide by 2, 7.5. And if you want to see only the integer part, then 15 double slash 2. Okay, and if you want to see the remainder, then 15 percentage 2, right? And if you want to declare the variables, as an example, I'm saying width equals to 300, height equals to 200, and I want to see width into height. Actually, basically what we need to do. Uh, okay. So this is the, we just take it as a simplest thing which we can do. It's say all the numeric operations we are doing. Same thing I can do with the pie chart, but there I need to use print statement. Okay. IDE. Yes. That you can use, but there you cannot. Notepad plus plus is there, but I don't think you can interpret there. Only the PyCharm. I use PyCharm, Anaconda, Spider is there. PySpider in Anaconda. Hmm. Yes, yes. So this is, let me. So you can go file, new, okay, and you have to. It's too slow. Oh, it is not showing. New scratch file, Python. Okay. So here, if I need to say print 2 into 2, and you can go to run, right? And you can say, actually it is showing the older file. Just right click, run scratch 3. So it is printing 4. Okay, same way other, if I write anything, say 15 divided by 2. So you can directly write here And now if you go to run, you can see run, or you can press shift F10. Yes, it is written there. Shift F10. Okay. So whatever the commands I have written here, so all the commands you can use over there. Huh? Which one? Under run. Okay. Debug means if you want to debug your code. Say an example, you have written a program and you want to see line by line what is happening. Okay, so that debug you can do. Okay. We are not using all these options. We are just more interested in, because this pie charm we can develop other type of applications as well. So we will be most concentrating on run and debug. Okay. Okay. Basics of programming. First, actually, now we are learning Python 3.x, 3.6, 3.7, right? That version. But prior to that, there was 2.x version. So now we need to see what is the difference, what are the new things in the 3.5 or 3.6, and what are the in 2.x, what is the difference. First is the print statement. As you have seen in the print the bracket, I am writing anything, it will print it. But in 2.x version, it was in double quotes. Say an example, you want to print, here I'm printing like this, but there it was print double quotes. Oh, okay. So most notable and mostly widely known change in the Python 3 is how the print function is used. Use of parentheses with the print function is now mandatory. That brackets parentheses you have to use it. It was optional in Python 2. Okay. In 2.x version, it was optional whether you can put or not to put. Second, Python, the print function insert new line at the end by default in Python 2, but it can be suppressed by putting comma at the end. In Python 3, it is end equals to. Okay. So basically what was happening, if I'm saying, if I'm writing print, it is printing in new line. Okay. So if I say print, say hello world, comma, end equals to. I think that is also. Okay. So if I write like this, and if I say print hello India, print hello Bangalore. So shift F10. Now you see hello world and hello India is in a same line because I have written and equals to space, means it will be printing in the same line. And in Python 2, this is in Python 3.x, but in Python 2.0 or not 2.0, 2.x version, it was comma. Okay, that is what I'm trying to say here. Print function insert a new line at the end by default. In Python 2, it can be suppressed. It can be suppressed means we suppress it by putting comma at the end. In Python 3, end equals to appends a space instead of a new line. So if you see example down, print x comma. So I don't have Python 2.0 installed. So it is 3.x version. So means if you have that version, you can check it out. It is printing print x comma, next it will be printing into the same line. But in the 3.x version, we are using equal and equals to. Reading input from keyboard. So here what I'm doing, x equals to 1, print x. It is printing 1. If I want to change, I need to change here value of x, then it will print. But I want x should be input, enter the value. Now here it is expecting some value and I am saying 5. It prints 5. Okay. So this is in the 3.x. We are using input method to read the value. Python 2 has two versions of the input and raw input. So when you were using Python 2, so there was two versions. Raw input is no more in the 3.x. It was in 2.0, 2.x only. The input function receives the data string if it includes in quotes or triple quotes. Otherwise, data is treated as number. Okay, so input function, what we are doing, we are reading the data, and if we put it into double quotes, then it is string. Otherwise, it's a number. Python 3 raw input is deprecated. It's removed. Further, the received data is always be as a string. Okay, so the raw data is always a string. There is no other data type. So let us see this example. So if you see this, x equal to input something. So I'm writing, I have written 10. Okay, something colon 3. So here it will ask 10. Here input x equals to input something. So you are putting some value 10 you have put. Okay, now here also x something. So something equals to you put 10. This is 2.0, 2.x version we are talking. Okay. Now similar here, input something, same. This is same in both, but output is different because you are entering some value that is numeric, but here it is string always. By default, the data type is string. Okay. Now in second case also it is you are putting single quote, it will be in the single quote. Both are string. Okay. Third case, raw input. So we were using raw input to input the string data in 2.x. But here it will return the error because that does not exist. Fine. Now let us talk about integer division. So integer division is means when you are dividing a integer value. Integer means positive or negative, right? Whatever it is. So say an example. If I say, okay, now you see it is x. If I say x plus 10. Okay, let's run it. Enter the value, and I'm entering the value, say 20. It throws the error, print x plus 10. The reason is because by default it is string. So you need to explicitly convert that string into number. Then plus 10 you can do. So if I say int, right? Understood? Okay, so numbers in Python. So what we can do, I have a number, say x equals to 5. And I want to say print x divided by 2, 2.5. Okay, so I can do that uh, division by simple slash. And if I use that we have already discussed, okay, in order to obtain the floating, okay. No, 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 what it is saying, I think this is old slide. In order to obtain the floating, numerator and denominator must be explicitly as okay. Actually, there is one more thing. If you say 5.0, it will always what type. Okay, so if you simply say x equals to 5, here it gives 3.0. So in 3.0 version or 3.x version, the division is always in the floating point, means in the decimal. But in 3.0, it is always floating. In Python 2, the result of the division of two integers is rounded off to the nearest integer. As a result, 3 by 2 gives 1. In order to obtain the floating point division, numerator or denominator must be explicitly used as float. Python 3 evaluates 3 by 2 is equals to 1 by 5 by default, which is more intuitive for the new programmers. Okay. Python 2 requires you to mark the string with a U if you want to store the Unicode character. So Unicode characters, these are the characters which is other than the English language. They are special characters like Chinese word or something which we want to store. So if you are using 2.0, then you have to put U in front of that string if you want to store the Unicode characters. So here, Python 3.0 by default strings are capable to store the Unicode characters. Got it? So we have the Unicode UTF. So you have seen in some XML file that UTF-8 is written on the top. Okay, so unified basically text and 2 byte classes byte and byte array we use for this. Now, slowly, now we are moving to the numbers. In the numbers, we are seeing range and X range. So, X range is not used in the 3.x version, but it was used in the 2.x version. So, X range is basically range is basically first of all range is some number list of number. So it basically returns list. Okay. In Python 2, range returns a list and X-rays returns an object. Object means any data type, anything. List means there is a concept called list in the Python. So range was returning the list when we were using the Python 2. Returns an object that will generate the items in the range when needed. In Python 3, range function is removed, means which was returning the list that is removed. And xrange has been renamed to range. Okay, so it means basically what it does, xrange returns as object that will generate the item in the range when needed. So xrange is deprecated and only we have the range. Raise exception. Raise exception means when you want to explicitly raise an exception, an error at runtime. So Python 2 accepts both the notation old and new syntax. Python 3 raises the syntax error if it do not enclose in the exception argument. So in Python 2, if you see this one, range input output error, the file error. So basically you are writing your own exception handling, and you are saying if it is exception is raised, that is to be uh, write with the raise space input output error and the error name. It also supports bracket parenthesis, and in 3.x version uh, we are removing the bracket so that we have more clarity on this. Okay, raise input output exception means syntax error for the raise in the. So now you can compare third line with the second line, right? And now we are on the first program. Now scripting mode programming means when you are writing the, so you have seen this pie chart, this file which I have created, it is having extension .py. Okay, so all the Python files are having extension py. Open the command prompt and write the following. Okay, so say an example. I have a Python file which I want to execute. So for that, actually you don't need anything. This is my notepad, and I'm simply saying print hello world. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm just saving. So here I'm saying under C temp I will store it, and I'm saying test.py. Now I have a file. This is test.py. Okay, and here I will go to my command prompt, and now I need to write. We'll go to that folder, and here I will say Python, or I will say cd temp, and I will say Python. The file name is test.py. Enter. Okay, so you can execute any .py file like this. Is it clear? Well, okay. Same way means instead of writing the commands all the time, you write it in. And even when we are using PyCharm, internally it is doing the same thing. When you are running it, you're saying run, and this basically what it does, it goes and execute with the this command. So basically it has the extension like .py, which indicates it's a Python file. So Python is basically not only used for such kind of programming, it is mostly used for the scripting level. So scripting level in the sense, say an example, you are using AWS, Amazon Web Service. And in AWS, you have one facility, say, uh, restore or backup your systems. So when you are using that functionality, then you want to write some script on. You can write script in different other languages, but Python is very lightweight. Okay, so you use Python, and with the help of that Python, you are basically writing such kind of programs. Okay, I will share this PPT with you. You have WhatsApp, right? Note down my number. 9739 Send your email ID. achievement rate. So I will share this Python